of September 2022. It's a very fantastic day, and we're glad to be here this morning to review the newspapers. And we will be beginning the newspaper review as usual on a business note this morning. Remember that you can be a part of the conversation by reaching out to us via WhatsApp on 0809-791-0074, or you could drop off comments at the comment section below this video on Facebook Live at Broad Street Radio NG. Right, let's look at the Business Day newspaper this morning. The Business Day newspaper has just one story and a campaign poster. And the story says, pension for mortgage seen as massive. Pension for mortgage seen as massive.
I've just been looking at that story. If you remember, that story, was it last week or earlier this week, where it was approved you can use your pension for mortgage, and it has been an interesting one, and I think you can visit the newspaper to know details to that.
What's interesting to you about this mortgage?
No, why I said so is because, in this part of the world, mortgage is not that known by so many persons. Okay. I don't know if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
My uncle was telling me the other day, he said, there is a certain country, maybe if you are living in, by now you should have your own house, you should have your own car comfortably. Most of them are mortgaged. Okay. Understand? That means you pay at your ease. Before you know, you are done with it. In fact, abroad, you notice everybody seems as if they are living comfortably. Most of these things you see are mortgaged.
Okay.
I don't know if I know mortgage has its own disadvantage too, but it's also an advantage. The advantage, I think, is bigger than the disadvantage. So it makes things easier. But in this part of the world, it seems as if, in fact, we know little or nothing about mortgage. I don't know. I know that some people know about it, but it seems as if it's not as strong as it should be. So if they are saying you can use your pension for mortgage, I know details to that story will be coming from the newspaper. I've not taken time to get into details about it, but maybe in subsequent bulletins we can talk better about it. But I think the newspaper will talk more about it.
Okay. Growing up, I used to see a lot of mortgage banks in Nigeria, but after some time, it looked as if the mortgage bank thing wasn't really working.
It's just like talking about insurance in the country. We all know that insurance exists, but we also are aware that, in fact, someone was telling me the other day, he said, if not for police, you see all these insurance for vehicle, I no go do one. I don't know if you get it, because we live in a society where you pay for insurance, you pay your premium, understand? And when it is time now to pay, now you start hearing stories and protocols and stories like that, and that is the country where we are living in. And I think that is also what is happening to mortgage, so to say. Even though insurance seems to be doing better compared to mortgage. If you know better, I know there are financial people listening to us this morning. Exactly. You can tell us the story. You can let us know. If you are an investment banker or an investment analyst, over to you. Let us know on the comment section.
All right. You can also get more details of the story on page 3 of the Business Day newspaper. And the boldly written headline there is a campaign poster for 𝐒𝐞𝐰. It says for a growing economy. For a growing economy.
And that is Business Day newspaper.
Yeah, if you want to know what about the growing economy that 𝐒𝐞𝐰 has, you can visit www.𝐒𝐞𝐰.com.
Campaign officially starts today, so I'm not surprised to see that popping up from the newspaper.
Right, that is all that we have from the Business Day newspaper this morning.
All right, we'll move straight to let's look at leadership newspaper, because like I said before, campaign starts properly today. So obviously, most of the newspapers will have political campaign stories. As 2023 campaigns begins today, 18 candidates want Buhari's job.
Wow.
18 candidates want Buhari's job. Why do they want Buhari?
They want to fix Nigeria.
They want to fix. Already, I know part of Buhari's time is almost up, so that is one. And like you said, they want to fix Nigeria. So, who amongst these candidates do you think is credible to take over power when by 2023? So many of them, like we said, 18 of them, 18 of them from different ethnic groups in the country. Who do you think? Campaign has started properly, so you are free to now talk.
Yeah.
I know people have been talking, but now is the time to talk
officially talk about it.
Yeah. There are stories with regards to some of these political parties and what they have. You can go to the front page of Leadership newspaper. That is where you get that story. 2023 court nullifies Lero's PDP senatorial ticket. Page 6 of Leadership newspaper. Flood kills 58, injures 74. Displaces 248,665 persons in Damawa and Benue.
This figure is more true. 248,065.
We saw the pictures in one of the newspapers yesterday.
Yes.
And it's a very, very sad one, we must say. It's a very sad one.
I was on the Daily Trust yesterday.
Okay, page 6 of Leadership newspaper. No state has approval to buy weapons. Presidency is talking. I think this has to do with
the Amoteku,
yes, clamoring for them to use arms. Okay, page 6 of Leadership newspaper. Let's talk about the inflation rate. Inflation, CBN gives banks 48 hours to meet the 2.5% CRR. Is another big story. Maybe some other news dailies will talk about the MPR. I know details about that emerged last night. Page 7 of Leadership newspaper is where the story is coming from. Senate rejects power rotation bill, increases number of appeal court judges. And Yobe records 50 deaths from 1,000 cholera cases. And finally, access to information day. Editors urge government to expand democratic space. I think this is our story, and I must say the government, they need to do more. They need to do more where the media are given opportunity. Well, we have the opportunity, but it seems as if there are a lot of limitations. There are a lot of limitations. I wouldn't begin to recount stories where somehow the Ministry of Information, they've come, attacking so many news platforms, and that is it.
I think for me, I will always say that the only way forward is to have a very strategic leader who is vast in knowledge and who knows what to do at what time. I still appreciate the regime of the former president 𝐒𝐞𝐰𝐬𝐩𝐚𝐪 Obasanjo.
Yeah.
Because he sought out for those who knew their job. That was when we had NAFDAC doing solid stuff with 𝐒𝐞𝐰𝐬𝐻𝐾.
Yeah.
That was when the CBN was doing real good with Charles Soludo. That was when we had I say 𝐒𝐞𝐰𝐬𝐻𝐾 for NAFDAC, Dora Akunyili. We had the likes of 𝐒𝐞𝐰𝐬𝐻𝐾 in the finance. We have Ngozi Ezekwesili, and they made decisions. He went for those who knew their job. And after the administration, what we've been seeing is favoritism and trying to pay back favors and nepotism and all of that. The only way forward for Nigeria's growth is getting the right person in the job. Once you get the right person as the leader, every other thing follows. So every other thing will follow suit once we have the right leader voted into power.
Okay, that is much we can take from Leadership newspaper quickly.
All right, let's quickly look at the Daily Trust newspaper. Daily Trust newspaper says, the boldly written headline says, despite Buhari's assurances, 23 Kaduna train passengers spend 6 months in captivity. Despite Buhari's assurances, 23 Kaduna train passengers spend 6 months in captivity. And then the writers here says, President should redeem pledge. This is coming from the victims' families. How the remaining captives can be rescued. This is coming from an ex-AIG. You want to know who the ex-AIG is? You visit page 6 of the Daily Trust newspaper.
Sorry, before we continue, I just saw this comment and I think it's good I look at it. That is coming from 𝐍𝐞𝐰𝐬𝐻𝐚. He says, mortgage is working in Nigeria. It's just that it has been only corporate developers that are taking advantage of it here.
Oh, that's a good one. Corporate developers.
That is the same thing. I told you, so many persons know little or nothing about mortgage in the country.
So what can be done, listen, if you're still listening and watching us live on Facebook, what can be done to bring mortgage back to its real stand in the country? And to you, let me ask you also, what do you think can be done from the comments that Alison has made?
What can be done? First of all, I think the mortgage industry, the financial industry, so to say, I think we need to do a kind of sensitization to let people know more about mortgage. I don't know if you get me.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, we need to build that trust. So, because one thing about most of these schemes is that people seems to be skeptical about them.
Mm-hmm.
You try the best you can to market it, to talk to them and say this is real.
They are afraid because of previous occurrences.
I don't know if you get that kind of thing. That is justice. And secondly, the protocols involved in getting these things done. That is one other issue that people have. Because when you look at what it takes to get, you'll be told to get this one, get this one, get this one. Nah.
You just want to go out.
I beg, when I continue. You get.
Okay.
So, but I think the biggest thing to do is to kind of sensitize people to be aware that things like this exist. Because one thing is to know that something like this exists, and the other is taking advantage of it. I think people know little or nothing about it. That is one. And try to build confidence in people that these things are real, that you can actually take advantage of them for your own benefit.
And another factor I'm seeing from the comments he made, that corporate developers, I think this mortgage is it involves enough capital. And as individuals, you might not have that capacity to, and then these corporate developers, they come together, bring their resources together, get these things, and then push it out for others to get them. Well, if you have a solution to how mortgage can better work in Nigeria, let's see that on the comment section. Thank you, 𝐍𝐞𝐰𝐬𝐻𝐚, for that comment. We appreciate you. All right, let's continue with the Daily Trust newspaper. We have CBN raises interest rate to record 15.5% in 20 years. CBN raises interest rates to record 15.5% in 20 years. You want to get more details to that story, page 27 of the Daily Trust newspaper is where to go. Moving on, we have how my successor, other leaders will emerge in 2023. This is coming from the President Buhari. Page 36 of the Daily Trust newspaper has more details to that story. APC, PDP, others yet to submit 2019 election expenses reports. This is coming from INEC. I think they should be penalized for that if they are yet to submit that.
One thing, there should be a deadline. So is the deadline there? Yeah, before you talk about penalizing them.
Yeah, sure. Well, this is more than 4 years, and it shouldn't take up to 4 years for you to submit a report of expenses. They should be penalized. 2000, page 34 of the Daily Trust newspaper is where you get more details to that story. 23 dead, 116,084 displaced in Benue flood. Page 12 of the Daily Trust newspaper. We've talked about no state authorized to buy automatic weapons. This is President replying Akeredolu. Page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Reps fume over abandoned 797 billion naira Abuja Kaduna Kano road project. Oh goodness, and we are having deficit in our budget. Page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And finally, campaigns. 𝐒𝐞𝐰𝐬𝐨, 𝐒𝐞𝐯𝐢𝐞𝐰, and 14 others battle for 84 million votes. Page 35 of the Daily Trust newspaper has more details to the story.
All right, we'll be moving straight to the Nation newspaper. Looking at the Nation newspaper, suspended Ogun governor's aide, Rufai, jailed 5 years. I don't know, Apostle, if you remember this story.
Yes.
That was early this year when that story broke. And it's a sad one. But I've just, since yesterday when I read this story, I've just been thinking what must have led to all of these. It's not as if he's not doing fine. For someone to be an aide to the governor, then I'm sure you are living comfortable.
They say that humans' wants is insatiable.
Okay.
And that's why you see even the ones who are rich wants to get richer and richer, and they want to do it by every possible means, and some wants to do it by all means. So greed is something that you never can tell about a human until it starts manifesting.
Do you think this dents the image of the governor?
Of course, because he's attached to the governor. So if you are to, if you look at it critically, you might want to be saying that for this guy to be doing this thing, probably his boss is aware or has something to do about it.
I doubt.
The normal.
That's if people wants to start reading meaning.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't be as two of us are in the studio every day reviewing newspapers. If I happen to do anything, they would definitely want to.
But that doesn't mean that both of them are together every day.
The aid of
despite the fact that both of us are in the same studio doesn't mean I know your in and out. It doesn't mean that you know my in and out.
Yeah, sure, but then if anything happens, they will definitely the first person they will want to is the person that they're always in the secular job together with. This is aid to the governor.
All right, to our governors, over to you. It's very much important when you are making an appointment. Please, let's be, very careful with what we are doing. But I'm happy justice is, coming out there. Maybe he also have. There will be opportunity for appeal or thereabout. So let's see what happens. But you want to know details to that story, you go to page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Article, I will be stepping stone for Igbo president. Please don't promise what you cannot, what you don't have 100% power over. Just tell us what you want to do for the country. Don't promise Igbo people anything. I will also say please don't promise, because part of the promise he made, although he hasn't refuted, so we'll also take it from the mouth of 𝐒𝐞𝐰. I don't know if you get it. These are promises even from the time. There was a video that was showed when Bola Tinubu was promising a whole lot of jobs. That was for Buhari. We are still looking for those promises till date, and it's coming again for 2023. Don't promise us anything. You are even going from that's not even the angle I'm looking at. I'm looking at the fact that if you remember, Part of the thing the governor of Rivers State, 𝐒𝐞𝐰𝐬𝐚𝐩𝐾, said on Friday was that the article said that if he happens to win, if the presidency happens to go to the north, that the chairman will step down, which I know as at this moment, Atiku himself hasn't refuted that. It's a promise. And now, if you promised him that and you couldn't keep it, how sure are we that you will be a stepping stone for Igbo president, just as you promised yesterday?
You can't even be a stone, not to talk of stepping stone.
Anything is possible. I'm not saying he doesn't have.
If you promise
win
us anything,
I'm not saying
just focus on the strategy he wants to use to build Nigeria. Don't come and promise Igbo president.
Okay, I think that is fair. I think that is fair. Tell us what you have for us.
Because you want to. It's like you want to use this one to buy the
to entice the Igbo people.
Oga, give us the strategy you want to use to improve Nigeria. That's what we want to know. Tell us how it will work, not just in mouth. We've had a lot of promises. 2011, 2015, 2019. There were promises. We are yet to see them. So don't come and give us this thing here.
Apostle, calm down.
I'm coming down.
Okay.
Continue reviewing.
Let's go to the national newspaper to read up that story. Federal government borrows 1 trillion naira to fuel subsidy, says DMO. Debt Management Office at it again. We borrow 1 trillion naira to fund subsidy.
Well, it is well with Nigeria.
Oil theft. Tompolo's gunboats storm Niger Delta creeks. Yeah.
That must have been a very fantastic action film.
It's not about being an action film. I'm just looking at the result of all of this, because it seems to be we like call it warfare. You know, the creek men are not happy with the pipeline surveillance that was awarded to Tompolo. And now the newspaper says Tompolo is storming the creeks with his storm boats.
They know. You see this thing. The thing that is one thing I like with this strategy is that you know these people. Oh yeah, use them to fight them. Do you understand it? And that's one thing that the white countries usually make use of. If they see that you are very good in this thing against the government, they will employ you into the government system. Or yeah, help us to fish out these other ones. So, Tompolo, continue.
I think it's for me, before I leave that story, I think the government need to look into what is happening there, because if this issue is not tackled, it will lead to yet another problem. I watched that documentary from Arise TV.
Okay.
And you need to see how angry these men are. They feel they are being sidelined. They feel they were not consulted. Some other issues, they rolled out. I'm not saying that the way they want to address that issue is a good one. I wouldn't say that. I don't know if you get me. I wouldn't say that. But what I'm saying is, if these people feel they are not carried along, then the government also needs to bring them in order. Not when things get out of hand, we start acting.
What is it that they are saying? What are the things that they are outlining that they are not carried along about?
Part of what they are saying is that these pipelines are so kilometers. I don't know if you get me. Now, the greater kilometer is coming from our area. And now we want to award a contract for surveillance of these pipelines, and you are giving it to some other person whose area is just few kilometers. I don't know if you get me.
Okay.
So if you want to give a contract to safeguard this, you should look at us, because we have the greater number of this pipeline.
Okay, so is it about
now? Secondly, they are saying before that contract was awarded, they were expecting to have a round table discussion. But it seems as if nothing like that happened, only for someone to be. So how do you bring someone who is not even an indigenous of here to come? How does he know the in and out of this area?
That's the spirit of entitlement.
These are things they said.
That kills Nigeria.
Like I said before, I'm not saying that their demand must be met. But what I'm saying is, when issues like this come up, the government shouldn't just, fold hands and, okay, now, whatever. You guys, after talking now, sure, you will go and sit down, Abi. What I'm saying is that they should take action. They should find a way, okay, fine, let everybody come together. Let's look at this issue. This one we are hearing storm boats. You know what the result will be. And of course, lives are involved.
Sure.
Okay, well, let's move away from that story now. And I think we take the last one from that newspaper because obviously our time is even up. Nigerians face harder times as CBN raises interest rate. We talked about this story yesterday, and it was raised. Okay, Emefiele hike from 14% to 15.5% to contain rising inflation. Expert fault policy. I think it's even yesterday we were looking at up to 20% or maybe above that, but they moved it 1.5% up. That is from 14% to 15.5%. And I think this is the third time the interest rate has been. Yeah, the third. Is it the third? Yes, the third time. The first was from 11 to 13, from 13 to 14, from 14 to 15.5% in just 1 year. The year is not over, and anything can still happen.
Well, it's 3 months remaining.
But will you blame the government? I mean, will you blame CBN? Sorry.
Yes, I'll blame them because they should be the ones to advise the government on what financial policies to have that will favor us. But it seems as if
But this is a policy.
all of the policies they have been making.
No, this is a policy. If you are talking about policies.
All the policies that CBN has been making, I have not seen any fruitful result about them. Yes, that I'm telling you. All of the policies that they have been making, there is either tomorrow there is a fault in it, or something will happen, and back and forth policies. That's not how we can grow the economy.
But you remember the Uncle's Borrowers program?
What has come out of it?
Oh, but you remember that farmers, they did borrow and they don't want to pay.
See, Prof.
But did you remember that story?
And when
I remember you were wait.
I
remember vividly. You were the one who you were on the side of the farmers. You were giving excuses for them. Are you aware that during COVID-19 that CBN rolled out loans for people? Are you aware? Yes, it happened. That is why I said most of these things. It seems as if we know little or nothing about them. But it happened. CBN did that. They gave out loans.
Publish the list of the people they gave the loans to.
This is another story. But
let's know their names now. Let's see the names and trace those names.
You remember you talked about policies. And I've showed you. How many have I mentioned now?
I will still say it. None of the policies that they have been making has yielded enough fruit. I will continue to say it. If it has yielded fruit, I will say yes. It has not yielded anything. So they are the problem of our economy.
I just mentioned one, and I told you the result of it.
See, okay, is it the farmers that brought insecurity? Is it the farmers that brought kidnapping and bombings and killing?
No, you said something. You said all the policies they've been
Yes.
But this is
only Ankaboras you are standing on. The other policies they have been making.
But I just talked about the COVID-19 loan that they rolled out.
That one,
Remember, the e-naira is still there.
I didn't even want to mention e-naira before, but I brought it to my notice. What? Okay, where is e-naira now?
We are still trying to push it up. You even understand.
Where is the e-naira now?
No, you understand how.
Twice it was taken down because of one thing. Please.
And since then, what happened?
What happened?
Hasn't been there. But you didn't also check the record of how many downloads we had in less than 24 hours. But did you notice that?
They took it down because one issue was arising and the other issue was arising. Oga, I am still waiting for the fruits of all the policies that they have been making. Let them come to our Facebook page and tell us these are the policies and these are the results, and then we'll go and verify.
Let me look at my Facebook page and see if there are comments there, so we can.
Let the CBN come and make comments.
If you are watching us live, just drop your comments there. Okay, that is much I can take. Can we take one more? Okay, that is much. I don't know.
All right, and let's just quickly talk about this. The Punch newspaper is just one headline they have here, and it says 2023 Atiku governors land in Abuja. Tinubu Obi delay campaign. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper has more details to that story. Okay, let's take two more. Businesses face cash crunch. Interest rate hits 15.5%. Page 19. And finally, $350,000 fraud. America jails Abiodun's ex-aide for stealing 20,000 identities. React. 20,000 identities. Page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper, and of course, boldly the bold picture on the Punch newspaper is Nigeria for a secure Nigeria. On Business Day newspaper was economy, and for Punch newspaper is for a secure Nigeria. You can visit the Punch newspaper to get more details to the stories we have on that newspaper. And on this note, we want to bring the newspaper review to a close for the day. Yes, it's been a fantastic one in the studio with myself, Semosinachi, and Eze reviewing the newspapers this morning. Do well to join us again tomorrow at 9 o'clock a.m. for another interesting episode of the newspaper review on your number one business radio, Broadstreet Radio. Also, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Follow and like our page on Facebook at Broadstreet Radio NG. Join the conversations on our Instagram and Twitter handles at Broadstreet Rad. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Broadstreet Radio NG on YouTube. And our website is www.broadstreetradio.com. You can also be a part of the conversation here in the studio by reaching out to us via WhatsApp on 0809-791-0074. For sponsorship and advert placement on Broadstreet Radio, the numbers to call are 0809-791-0073 or 0803-436-1400. You could also send a mail to hello@broadstreetradio.com, or you visit our office at 195 Ikorodu Road by Palm Grove Bus Stop. Uni Brown House is the building. Our mobile app is also available on Google Play Store for Android phone users and on the Apple App Store for the Apple phone users. Download Broadstreet Radio mobile app on your mobile devices so that everywhere you go, you can carry Broadstreet Radio along.